Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start by taking you back to a moment in my life when I walked into a room full of strangers. Everyone was eager to share their story, their title, their business, their shining accomplishments. And there I was, sitting quietly, heart full of dreams I wasn't ready to explain, projects so close to my spirit, I could barely speak them aloud. I want to take you back to a time in my life when everything was changing, and yet nothing had taken shape clearly enough for me to explain it. I was invited to a gathering, a beautiful event filled with people who had already carved out impressive paths for themselves. Doctors, entrepreneurs, artists, executives, you name it. They moved through the room like they belonged to it, shaking hands, trading business cards, smiling wide with well-rehearsed introductions. I walked in quietly, almost unnoticed. And I remember feeling this pull inside me, this urge to announce myself, to find a neat little sentence that would capture all the dreams that hadn't even fully bloomed yet. I thought, maybe if I tell them what I do, they'll understand who I am. Maybe if I say the right thing, I'll be seen. But then something inside me, something wiser than my nerves whispered, wait. So I sat down at a little table by the window where the noise of ambition softened against the glass. I smiled at the people who came by, nodded when they asked polite questions. But I didn't launch into a story about my work. I didn't hand over a label for them to put me in a box. And something incredible happened. Without the usual small talk about jobs and achievements, the conversations went somewhere deeper. People told me about their passions, about what kept them awake at night, about their childhood dreams they hadn't dared to say out loud before. Some shared heartbreaks they were still carrying. Others spoke of hopes they were just starting to believe in again. And in those moments, stripped of the armor of titles and roles, we met as real people, not as job descriptions, not as walking resumes, but as souls. Seeing and hearing each other for who we truly were, I realized then that when you don't rush to tell people what you do, you give yourself and them the gift of meeting you without pretense, without expectation, without assumptions clouding the air. Because here's the truth. Who you are is so much greater, so much richer than any single thing you do. We live in a world obsessed with categories. What's your title? Where do you work? What have you achieved? And it's so easy to feel like if you can't answer those questions with something impressive, then maybe you don't measure up. But you do. You always do. Simply because you are here, breathing, growing, becoming. There is a quiet kind of power in holding your story close to your heart, especially when it's still unfolding. There is strength in honoring the parts of your life that aren't ready for the world's opinions, the parts that are still tender and forming and finding their voice. You don't owe anyone a polished version of yourself before you're ready. You don't have to explain the dreams you're still dreaming, the battles you're still fighting, the victories you're still building brick by brick in the dark. Protect what is sacred. Not every seed needs to be planted in public. Not every dream needs to be shouted from rooftops before it's strong enough to withstand the wind. Some of the most beautiful things you will ever create in this life will start in silence, in private moments, in spaces where only you and the universe are watching. And when they finally bloom, because they will, the world will feel their power without you ever having to explain how they came to be. Your success, your impact, your light, it will speak louder than any speech, any title, any introduction ever could. You are not your job, you are not your achievements, you are not your failures either. You are something more profound, something more unshakable, something more eternal. So trust that, hold on to that. Let people meet you, not just what you do, Because in the end, the world doesn't fall in love with what you make. The world falls in love with who you are while you're making it. So often in life, we are taught to believe that who we are is directly tied to what we do. From the time we are young, people ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? Not who do you want to become, not what kind of heart do you want to carry into the world. We are trained to define ourselves by titles, by roles, by achievements, by the labels the world can easily recognize and measure. But identity is so much bigger than any title you could ever hold. You are not your job description. You are not the degree you earned. You are not the company you work for or the number of awards that sit on your shelf. Those things are surface. They are wrappers. They are costumes we sometimes wear as we move through different chapters of our lives, but they are not the soul of who you are. The truth is, titles can be taken away, positions can change, accolades can fade, but the essence of you, the depth of your spirit, the values you carry, the kindness you extend, the courage you show when no one is watching, that is who you are. That is the part of you that no one can touch. That is the part of you that lasts long after the titles are forgotten. I have met people with all the credentials in the world who are empty inside. And I have met people with no formal title to their name who light up every room they walk into. Why? Because true identity is not about what hangs on the wall or what is printed on a business card. True identity lives in how you make people feel. It lives in how you show up when there is nothing to gain. It lives in the quiet, honest choices you make when nobody is clapping, nobody is cheering, and nobody is handing out awards. I believe the greatest tragedy is to spend your whole life building a title, climbing a ladder, chasing validation, only to realize you never really knew yourself beneath it all. There is a difference between making a living and making a life. And the life you make comes not from what you do, but from how you love, how you lead, how you listen, how you live. You are allowed to evolve beyond titles. You are allowed to grow into someone who can't be summed up in a single word. Maybe today you are a student, tomorrow an artist, a mentor, a healer, a builder, a dreamer, a creator of something the world has never seen before. Maybe you are all of those things at once, and none of them fully capture you. That is the beauty of it. You are a living, breathing masterpiece, not a static definition. The world may be more comfortable when they can put you in a box, when they can attach a title to you and decide that's all you are. But your soul was never meant to fit in a box. You are infinite. You are a work in progress and a work of art all at once. So I invite you, no, I challenge you to stop introducing yourself only by what you do. Start introducing yourself by what you believe in, by the fire that burns in your chest, by the vision that keeps you up at night, by the love you pour into your family, your community, your dreams. Lead with your heart, not your resume, because in the end, no one will remember the job title printed under your name. They will remember the way your presence made them feel seen. They will remember the light in your eyes when you spoke about what mattered to you. They will remember the way you lifted others when it would have been easier to look away. You are not your title. You never were. You are something so much greater. You are the whole story. There is something so profoundly powerful about mystery. In a world that is obsessed with transparency, with sharing every detail of our lives, with broadcasting every moment, there is incredible strength in holding some parts of yourself back. Mystery doesn't mean you are hiding or being dishonest. It means you are protecting what is sacred, what is still taking shape. It means there is power in the unknown, in the parts of your life that are just for you, your dreams, your ideas, your passions, your truths that haven't fully manifested yet. When I was younger, I believed that to be truly seen and understood, I had to share everything. Thought if I laid it all out, if I told everyone who I was and what I was doing, then I would be loved, accepted, respected. But the more I revealed, the more I realized that not every part of me needed to be on display. Not every chapter of my journey needed to be shared as it was unfolding. And that was when I discovered something profound. There is a quiet strength in mystery. It is easy to feel pressure to tell the world your every thought, to post your every accomplishment, to offer a narrative of your life that others can digest and approve. But I began to understand that there is great wisdom in letting some things remain unseen, untouched. The world doesn't need to know everything about you right away. In fact, there is something that makes you more intriguing, more magnetic, more real when you hold back a part of yourself. The things you don't share with the world are often the things that matter most. When you guard them, when you protect them from being dissected, judged, and put under a microscope, they grow stronger, clearer, and more powerful. These are the pieces of you that are still evolving, still transforming, still becoming. And those parts of you deserve time to breathe, time to develop in your own space. There is magic in mystery. There is a deep, quiet power in the things you choose not to reveal. When you keep certain aspects of your life private, you preserve your energy. You preserve your purpose. You preserve the authenticity of your dreams. And when the time comes, when the moment is right, those things you've kept close to your heart will reveal themselves in their own time, in their own way. And when they do, they will be even more powerful because they were never rushed. They were never hurried or forced for the approval of others. They were allowed to grow in the shadows before they were brought into the light. There is something almost sacred about letting your life unfold on its own terms, at its own pace. Mystery creates space for growth. It allows you to be fully present in the moments that are unfolding right now, rather than rushing ahead to explain what will come next. It creates a natural rhythm, one that doesn't depend on constant validation or the need for others to approve of your every move. It teaches you to trust yourself more than you trust the opinions of others. And let me tell you this, when you are in control of what you share, when you decide what to reveal and when to stay silent, you hold a power that is not dependent on the approval of others. People will be drawn to your mystery, to the quiet strength you hold. They will sense there is something deeper, something richer, something more meaningful beneath the surface, and they will respect you for it. The most extraordinary people I've met, the ones who have had the most profound impact on the world, are not the ones who shared every detail of their lives. They are the ones who remained true to themselves, who let their actions speak louder than their words, who allowed their mysteries to be revealed only when they were ready, when the time was right. The power of mystery doesn't mean you live in secrecy or hide your true self. It simply means you choose to protect the parts of you that are still growing, that are still finding their way. You choose to let your spirit evolve at its own pace, without rushing or trying to control the way the world perceives you. It is in this space that your true strength lies, in the quiet confidence that you are enough, that you are unfolding in your own time, in your own way. So trust the mystery. Let it guide you, because there is nothing more powerful than a person who knows the value of what they keep for themselves. True connection is one of the most beautiful experiences we can have as human beings. In a world that often feels fragmented, disconnected, and at times isolating, the moments when we truly connect with another person are like finding an oasis in the desert. These moments remind us that we are not alone, that we are seen, heard, and understood for exactly who we are. But the thing about true connection is it isn't something that can be rushed. It isn't something that can be manufactured. It's not about simply exchanging words or sharing surface-level pleasantries. True connection goes deeper. It's about meeting someone where they are, not where you want them to be. It's about sharing a space where vulnerability, honesty, and authenticity can live freely without judgment or expectation. I remember a time when I was caught in the hustle of my own life, running from one thing to the next, checking off boxes, crossing off to-do lists, always moving, always doing. I believed that connection meant being constantly surrounded by people, engaging in social settings, shaking hands, making introductions, being busy, being seen. But I realized over time that true connection is not about quantity, it's about quality. It's about the depth of the interaction, not the number of interactions. You can be in a room full of people and still feel completely isolated. You can have hundreds of friends, but still not feel truly connected. It's the quality of the connection that matters, not the quantity of people around you. True connection happens when you let go of the need to be seen a certain way. It happens when you stop performing, when you stop putting on the mask of who you think you should be and start simply being who you are. True connection happens when you share your real self, your fears, your dreams, your joys, your imperfections, and allow someone to do the same. It's in those moments when we reveal our raw humanity to one another without fear of judgment, that the deepest, most lasting connections are formed. But here's the thing about true connection. It doesn't just happen on its own. It requires intentionality. It requires you to listen, not just hear. It requires you to be present, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. So often we think we're connecting when we're simply talking, but real connection begins when we're willing to listen deeply to what someone else is saying. It happens when we tune out the noise of our own thoughts and let someone else's voice take precedence. We listen with our hearts, not just our ears. We hear the unsaid words, the emotions behind the words. We meet the person not just at the surface, but beneath it. True connection is built on trust. It's built on knowing that you can be open and vulnerable with someone and not fear being dismissed or misunderstood. It's about showing up for each other, even when it's difficult, even when the world seems too loud, too chaotic. It's about being a safe space for each other's dreams, fears, and vulnerabilities. True connection doesn't always need words. Sometimes it's simply being present. It's offering a comforting silence when there's nothing more to say. It's holding space for someone else's story, their pain, their joy. In our world today, there's so much noise, so many distractions pulling us in different directions. We are often more focused on the next task, the next goal, the next milestone, than we are on the person right in front of us. But true connection cannot thrive in the midst of distractions. It requires you to be fully present, to stop, to breathe, to truly see the person you're with When you do that, you invite them to do the same. You invite them to step into a space where they can be themselves, where they can let their guard down and trust that they won't be judged, but accepted. True connection is not about perfection. It's not about having the right words or the right answers. It's about showing up as your authentic self and allowing someone else to do the same. It's about offering understanding, compassion, and empathy. It's about realizing that at the end of the day, we are all just people trying to navigate this world together. And the most beautiful thing we can do is offer each other the gift of being seen and loved for exactly who we are. When you experience true connection, something inside of you shifts, as if the weight of the world lightens, because in that moment you realize you are not alone. You are part of something bigger. You are part of a shared humanity that can never be broken. And that is a gift. True connection doesn't require you to be perfect. It doesn't require you to have it all together. It simply requires you to show up, to listen, to be present, and to offer yourself authentically to another person. And when you do, you'll find that the connection you build are deeper, richer, and more meaningful than anything you could have imagined. There's a part of us, a quiet part, that holds our deepest dreams. These dreams aren't just goals or ambitions. They are pieces of our heart, reflections of what we hope for when we dare to look beyond the ordinary, beyond what's expected of us. They are fragile in their beginnings, delicate and vulnerable to the world's harsh realities. And yet, they hold incredible power, the power to transform our lives and even the lives of those around us. But in order to unlock that power, we must protect them. From the moment we start dreaming, the world begins to have its say. People we respect, people we love, people we admire can sometimes project their own fears and limitations onto us. They warn us about the risks, the challenges, the reasons why something might not work. And while some of these warnings come from a place of care, they can also create doubt, fear, and hesitation in our hearts. It's so easy to listen to those voices, to let them drown out our own. And that's when our dreams become fragile. That's when they start to lose their strength. But here's the truth. Your dreams are yours to protect. No one else can carry them the way you can. No one else can nurture them, shape them, or make them grow the way you are meant to. You are the guardian of your vision, the keeper of your desire. And if you want your dreams to become a reality, you must guard them with everything you have. The most important thing you can do is believe in your dreams, even when no one else does. There will be times when others don't understand your vision, when they question why you're pursuing something that seems impossible, or when they can't see the bigger picture that you are holding in your heart. They may try to convince you that it's too risky, too far-fetched, too much. And in those moments, you have to dig deep, deeper than you ever thought you could. You have to trust that your dreams are not just fantasies. They are the seeds of something real, something that can grow into something extraordinary if you give them the space to thrive. Protecting your dreams also means being selective about who you share them with. Not everyone deserves access to your hopes. There are people who will try to diminish your vision, even unintentionally. They may be well-meaning, but their words will still sting. Not everyone is equipped to handle the raw energy of your passion and ambition. So be mindful. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who encourage you, who see your potential before it's fully realized. These are the people who will help protect your dreams alongside you. They will be your cheerleaders, your partners in believing, your reminder when the path gets tough. But there's more to protecting your dreams than just shielding them from negative influence. you must also protect them from your own doubts. Self-doubt is one of the greatest threats to our dreams. We often stand in our own way, second-guessing ourselves, wondering if we're good enough, questioning if it's even possible. And when we do that, we start to chip away at our own vision. We hold ourselves back from taking the steps necessary to make our dreams a reality. But you have to know this: your dreams are worthy of your efforts. You are worthy of the success that comes with them. Even when things don't look the way you imagined, even when the road seems long, even when the obstacles seem insurmountable, your dreams are still valid, still worthy, still capable of coming to life if you refuse to give up on them.